Welcome back to Trigger to Transform, day 47. Now I have to look every time I say the date or the day that we're on because it's a little PTSD. Because I've gotten them wrong several times in the past. Go ahead before we even get started. Like, subscribe, share. You don't even know what's going on today, but go ahead and do it because it's going to be worth your while. And if this information is not for you, remember to send it to the person that is. You've made it back to Trigger to Transform. And as we know, this space is for us, for you, to come in and take some deep dives into developing yourself. I wanted to say something else, getting your shit together, but what we do know is that this space has been created for us all to transform our triggers and use those transformations to evolve into who we say that we are. Point blank, period. And we have so many ways of doing that. We operate in choice. You are either going to choose to do the things that you say that you are doing, or you're going to choose not to. And I've had to make that choice today. Hasn't been easy, nor has it been fun, but for me to be in alignment with myself and to reduce some of the nervousness and, those anxious feelings, like that thing that goes on in your body when you're not operating in alignment. Betrayal, to reduce the self-betrayal. Choice and consistency and communication and so many other things. But those are just some of the key characteristics or key components that we work through in this work. Now, if you have not heard this before, please go back to days 1 through 5, 1 through 10, when we're explaining what we're all doing here and why this is such a magical space. And I do my best to hit on it every now and again, but most of us have been here for these last 47 days. And we have had more than enough opportunity to learn and relearn the reasons for our being here. But if today is day 1, just know, if this is your first day here, just know that you are in the right place when it comes to leading your own life. Now, there's the other thing that I want to put in the space more often, that this is a space for leaders. And I understand that not all of us considers ourselves a leader, and that's fine. If you're not the leader, then you find the person that does consider themselves the leader and send this information to them. Okay? I consider us all leaders, especially if we have any autonomy into ourselves, any autonomy into what it is that we do. We have to take a leadership approach. We must. It's almost impossible not to. You are a leader, and if you recognize it or not, that's okay. You still operate as one. All right? So yesterday, in day 46, we're talking about love and detachment. And I told y'all I love detachment. But I also love to stay connected inside of my detachment. And we went through a few ways that we can operate in connection while being detached. And one of those ways was having thick skin. Like, you can't let all this stuff bother you and get to you, and you be sitting up here crying and upset and all that. Baby. None of that is worth your time. It's okay to feel what you feel and sit with it, but it's not a reaction. You got to have thick skin. You got to get back in there. Detachment. Right? So today in day 47, what are we talking about? Take a wild guess. Okay, that's not it. We're talking about self-respect. self-respect. Now, self-respect is what it takes for us to be able to detach, be able to have our self-governance, be able to embody our no, be able to stop people pleasing. Now, these are the things that we've been through this week. Let me make sure. And there's one more: boundaries versus control. Are you creating boundaries in your life? Or are you trying to control everything around you, child? That's not going to work. It's not going to work. Okay. But tonight, we're talking about self-respect. And we're going to create a little ritual around it. Now, most of you all know, if you've been here for a few times, that I have a very thick spiritual context into my work. And so I use words like ritual, okay, practices, things that we do on a day-to-day basis that ensures that we are tapping into what we're calling forward, right? To give ourselves a space to look in. That's what ritual is for me, right? It's an act of practice consistently where I'm able to gain results. Like, I may not get it right the first time, I may not get it right the second time, and I don't really subscribe to right and wrong, but I'm just using that in context so that everybody understands what I'm saying. Yes, I do have my nail file attached to that, okay? But not right or wrong in a sense that, you're going to be punished if you don't do it a certain way, but ritual as in this is what I'm doing to navigate through myself and build my discipline in this area. That's ritual to me. So when we think about, excuse me, y'all, when we think about the opportunity to practice our own self-respect, what does that look like? Now go ahead and get comfortable. If you have not already taken off your shoes, if you have not already gotten your tea and your journal, this is the time to do it. I'll give you a few seconds. Think about how you're feeling and draw in the energy of how you show your self-respect. How's that feel? How do you feel when you are disrespected by someone else versus when you disrespect yourself? By doing things that you said you weren't going to do, by not being accountable to your actions. Some of us don't care. I talked about that a little bit yesterday too. Some of us just don't care what any of that looks like. We will not hold ourselves accountable to anything, and we don't like the idea of holding others accountable. That's not self-respect. Self-respect is this is who I say that I am, and this is how I operate inside of that. And I demonstrate for others how to be with me in my process. But it takes a lot of fortitude. It takes a lot of awareness and determination to stop living life in a lukewarm area. Get real hot about who you are. Write that down. Get hot. You're not operating in this lukewarm, straddling the fence energy. It is really about being certain. Are you certain? Are you sure? Have you built the context around yourself so that we see who you are, you see who you are, and you're moving in alignment with your core values? Self-respect as a ritual. So when I participate in my own rituals or spiritual rituals, you know, Sometimes I do abundance rituals or prosperity rituals or healing rituals, forgiveness rituals. I always have to get my things in order, right? And so inside of my rituals, I generally have candles, I have bowls of water, I have my stones. I usually have something written that I'm speaking out loud, right? It comes with something. And okay, and that's just a personal look, right? Most of us, some of us go to church. There's rituals that occur at church called, was it First Sunday, where we practice, what do we call it? Communion. Is that first or fourth Sunday? I guess it may depend on where you're at, right? That's a ritual. When we get up and go to the collection plate, and before we all sit down, we pray for what's going to happen with these monies. That's a ritual. Trying to think of something else, but you all get what I'm saying, right? And that could be at any established uh, religious institution. And look around, like there's other rituals that go on at church. You're building one for yourself. So you're able to take your current knowledge into how you're operating and the rituals that you are naturally um, taking part in your life and apply that to your own self-respect. And that's what I love about this work, right? It's about the application of it. You can't just know this stuff and have it all floating around in your brain, but you still acting like you don't know. That's nasty work. It's just nasty work. This ritual is going to help you place those things into practice. Right now, I don't create rituals for people. All right, not in that context about self-respect or your own reliance to yourself. That's something that you are going to need to, and I did say need to, want to take on, especially if you're interested in growing, period. Yourself, your hair, thick skin. It's going to take something. It's going to take your um, intention and attention. So you're going to have to get all the things that you need together in order to be inside of this self-respect ritual. What else? What do you think? Write down 2 or 3 things that you think you're going to need for a self-respect ritual. How are some ways that you're able to measure if you're operating in self-respect? So, of course, my first thing is if I'm going to get all my things together and there's something about the self respect in regards to how I feel about myself or things that allow me to look at myself in the mirror and really be like, oh, okay, that's something that I can get with, right? Like your own self respect is gonna be based on your outlook, child. Where is my mind? Outlook on yourself. Woo, child. Right. So you get to decide on what that initial step is. When you look at yourself, is there something that you see in the mirror that you want to change for you that does not speak to the respect that you have for yourself? And it could be anything, okay? Because you're gonna want to focus more on the awareness that you have. And now when I say awareness, I mean the way you feel, the way you look, the way you think, what you hear, how you hear, your intentions with your speech, what you say, how you say it. Am I being respectful of myself in my current ways of being? Oh, am I being respectful of myself in my current ways of being? What can I change about the way that I respect myself that's going to impact everywhere around me? Now, the next thing I want you to write down is if I'm not respecting myself, then I am betraying myself. Are you willing? Am I willing to give up the acts of self betrayal? Again, we talked about that just a little bit a few minutes ago. Acts of self betrayal. I'm not doing for myself what I told myself, right? Self respect is a matter of trust. Can I trust myself to do what I said I was going to do for myself so that I can feel differently inside of my body, so that I'm feeling more alignment and congruent? What are some ways that I am lacking self respect? And be specific, right? I lie about small things. That's not an act of self respect. I get angry over things that I shouldn't allow myself to get angry over. That is not an act of self respect. I keep eating that thing that I can't have beef. It is an act of disrespect of myself if I allow myself to ingest beef. No bueno, right? So, this is a way to create this ritual that you can practice every day. For me, an act of self respect is using my voice. I got to say the thing. Another act of my another way that I practice the act of self respect through ritual is forgiveness. I forgive myself. I forgive those around me who I have perceived that they've hurt me for one reason or another, but I'm not a victim. That's another act of self respect for me. I will not be victimized. Another act of self respect is creating those boundaries about what it is that you are willing and not willing to do. Not control a situation, but when it comes to you, you have autonomy and agency over yourself. So any responsible boundary that you put in place, you have to respect it first. I ain't keeping them kids no more. I'm not doing this no more. And you just keep on doing it. Nobody believes you, not even you. Another act of self respect is saying what you mean and meaning what you say. And standing 10 toes down on it until you've gained another perspective. Or you've developed deeper perception about what it is that you're up to. Your self respect is your sovereignty, right? And so I wrote down a few things that we can add into our ritual of self respect. Now, something that I do sometimes, depending, I told you I write things down in my rituals, is I create affirmations, right? And inside of my affirmations, I do my best to make them powerful, right? Like sometimes they're really sweet. And I say powerful as in hard hitting, right? But sometimes they are deep and centered on alignment, which is still powerful, but deeply felt. Powerful and deeply felt. Okay. So I want to give you some ideas about your personal authority and power and some things that you can write down to affirm your self respect. I am rooted in myself and the sovereignty of my own life, energy, and choices. I claim my power and I stand firm in my truth. I trust my inner authority above all outside opinions. I'm responsible for my own joy and well being, right? So you want to affirm what it is that you're up to, right? Sometimes we have to dig a little deeper. Sometimes when we are inside of this work, we've got to identify, and I talk about this all the time, where we're feeling these things inside of our bodies. That's usually connected to our chakra system. There's commonly known 7 chakras, but there's so many more in the palms of your hand, on the bottom of your feet, around your body, your auric field, right? And so when you acknowledge where you're feeling the respect or the lack of respect for yourself, be it in your throat, your affirmation can be something along the lines of, um, through me constantly using my voice, I am practicing self-respect. I clear the channels so that I no longer have any blockages that lead to me disrespecting myself. But where do I feel it? Does it make my head hurt? Is my crown chakra? Is it around my forehead area? You start getting tense in here. That's my third eye. To see what's blocking my vision, that I'm continuously in a space of perpetual lack of self-respect. Use your whole framework to notice, to be a part of the conversation that's developing you. You know, when we go to work, I don't even know why I use this example. Okay, well, when we go to work, uh, we get these performance reviews. Somebody else is sitting back somewhere looking at the things that we've been able to produce and telling us how we did. This is your call to action for that idea. Can you look at yourself and determine how you've performed in the area of self-respect, of operating in your sovereignty, of being a willing, active participant in your own personal growth and development, personal understanding of self? Now, see, this is just the space where I can ask you a bunch of questions. If you are at all interested in having support, answering any of these questions, and really developing your own self-care ritual, your self-respect ritual, then don't forget to go in the comments and click on the link to make your appointment with me. And we can talk about all of these things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. If you have questions, maybe someone else has a question. There are stupid ass questions. And sometimes I entertain them. Most times I don't. So just know that. And put them down there in the comment section. Right? Anything that you've noticed about yourself in the last 47 days and up until this moment now, like what is the aha? I didn't know that I was operating outside of my own integrity. I see it, everybody else doing it. I see how they acting over here. I'm not going to go along to get along. I'm going to make my own decisions. I'm going to make my own choices. I'm going to have my own thoughts. I'm going to operate in my own authority. I'm no longer going to betray myself in order to get along with these people. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I hope this has been a eye-opening experience that you can continue to lean into. Lean into. Don't lean back. Don't lean out. Right? This is a chance to get clear about who it is that we're being. We got so much to say about what's going on in the world, but we don't want to do the work on ourselves, honey. Baby, bye. You cannot expect anything else to happen inside of this world and you still doing what you do. I'm going to leave that alone because it's getting later and later. And guess what? I'm going back to the gym in the morning. I sure did. I got up this morning at 8:30. Well, not at 8:30. I had to be at the gym at 8:30 and I made it on time. I sure did. And I didn't want to do it, but I'm going back tomorrow. That's right. And then I'm going back the next day. And I have committed myself to 4 weeks of gym days every day. And I did say that I wasn't going twice. There are 2 days in particular that I won't be there because my body's just, y'all, if y'all know what I'm talking about. And I let myself rest during that time, baby. I'm not getting ready to be out here running behind nothing. Nah. Okay. My reason for going to the gym is to tone my body up. Cause honey, I'm gonna be thicker than a snicker. This summer. Y'all gonna be like, please put your clothes back on, ma'am. And I'm gonna be like, mind your business. I'm operating in my own autonomy. I am sovereign, baby. And you can ready to see this sovereign body. If you know me, you know none of that's gonna happen, but it sounds fun. It sounds fun. It sounds fun. And in my own way, that will be what I'm operating in and how my summer is going because I'm going to dedicate the time to myself now. I'm not trying to lose no weight, honey. I have gone from 286 pounds down here to 159 pounds. Right now, I just want to tone it all up, honey. I just want muscles in places that I lost some muscle. See, last year I was thicker than a snicker, and I told y'all what happened. I got inside that relationship, baby, and that thing drained me. And so instead of me consistently being in a perpetual space of draining myself, worried about what happened 2 months ago, I just decided to do something different about it, which was go to the gym. And I'm sharing all this with you so that you can understand how I operate inside of my own self-respect. It's not that things don't happen that kick me off my game, but it's really about how us realign ourselves in those moments. It's not that the difficult times won't come. It's not that it's supposed to be perfect all the time. And that's why I come in here the way that I come in here. I'm not trying to relate to you that it's got to be made up. I don't have no lashes on. I ain't put on no mascara. I don't even have on chapstick, and I probably should right now. But it's me, my hat, and my blanket. It's cold. Like this is just what it is. There's no perfection behind your leadership skill. I don't care how many pairs of red bottoms you buy. I don't care how many of them Birkin bags you have. I don't care about any of those things if you are not operating within integrity to yourself. That is some bullshit, as a matter of fact. That's all that is. superficialness. I'm talking about depth around here. And it's not that I haven't had or don't have any of those things, but it's not the driving force for the reality that I'm choosing to live inside of. If you have a poor attitude, I don't care how many high priced bags you have, you still have a poor attitude and you're difficult to work with. Triggered? Have you been told that you're difficult to work with? If you're respecting yourself and you're presenting difficulty, so much for that. That's not self-respect. These glasses are dirty, baby. Whew. I'm getting ready to take them off my face anyway. Oh, I didn't tell you I got my chin waxed. Okay, I'm getting ready to get off of here because I'm really just holding y'all hostage at this point. But thank you. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for coming into day 47 and being a willing participant in the good news that you are practicing your self-respect rituals. You're creating the rituals for yourself. All right. Okay. For real this time, I'm gonna wipe off these glasses and take all these things down. But I am Goddess Shatoya, and this is Triggered to Transform. And I know that if you're triggered, you have the power to transform. And when you transform, you can evolve. You can evolve your mind, your heart, in all spaces that you occupy and that occupy within you. All right? That's so much better, I think. Almost. All right. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here. And I will see you again tomorrow. I am Goddess. Goddess is all I am. I am the many. I am the one. And y'all be well. Practice. Practice.